I probably need to move forward, don't I? This is too far away. You can't hear me or see me properly. Hello everyone! So, as you may have noticed, I am back at home for the Christmas summer holidays. Despite it's not quite summer yet, and outside definitely doesn't look like summer. It has been raining non-stop. Like, all week. Well, I say all week, I've been here like 2 days. What? I thought I should do this video as a bit of a late wrap-up of what I read in October, and a bit of an update as what I'm reading at the minute, / what I've already read in November. Also as a little bit of an update on what I'm doing uni-wise, because I have now finished my first year of uni. Distinctions. All high distinctions. So as you might have realised, I have been a little bit sketchy uploading the past few bits. I think it's kind of been a bit of a video every week and a half, which is a bit sketchy, I know, but I'm very sorry. I had 5 exams that I was busy trying to not fail that were all really heavy content ones. And then as soon as I finished my exam, I had to basically pack up everything that I had in Brisbane and so it was ready to go, and then pack the stuff that I would need for the next 2 months into 23 kilos to fly back on the plane, all within like a day of finishing my final exam. And so I arrived back in Canberra with 3 hours sleep and then drove all the way home. I now have had like a day or 2 to recuperate, and we're like, I should actually film a video and, you know, get back on that. So I'm back, and my apologies for kind of being away a bit. So life update kind of number 1, I'm planning on transferring to Sydney next year, hence needing to pack up everything in Brisbane before I left. On to what I read in October. I know I was meant to be like reading lots of scary books, but I kind of only read 2 books, but one was a 1,000 page book, so I think I was doing pretty well, thank you, during exam wrap-up cram season. Thank you. And the first book which I read, which I gifted away after I read it because I could only pack a certain amount of books, is Mort by Terry Pratchett. For those of you who don't know, Mort is a book about death, with the Grim Reaper deciding that he's tired of being death and that he wants an apprentice. And so he gets an apprentice called Mort. This book I really, really liked. I have never read Mort before, despite that I've read a lot of Terry Pratchett's. This is one of the first books that we get about death, which is interesting because kind of seeing it, I'm like, I don't like this character of death as much as the later death. Death as a character grows so much with not really being allowed to have a personality as his kind of anthropomorphic personification. Getting a personality, technically, that's kind of against the rules, and so, especially in this book, there's so many things about humans that he doesn't understand, and it's kind of both hilarious and also amazing to like then look forward at the later books when he's grown so much as a character and kind of got so much more of a personality. I like looking at this book in retrospect to the other books. I don't honestly remember what I gave this on Goodreads. Like 3.75, 4 stars, it was something like that. I enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't my most favourite read. The reason why I maybe thought this about Mort is because the second book that I read is probably one of the best books I have read this year. This book was Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which I'm super devastated that I don't have my copy here because it is filled with, like, sticky note tabs of, like, my favourite little bits in it. Oh my gosh, this book was amazing. Okay. How to describe this book? I'm not sure if I can. Okay, so, high fantasy, following a lot of characters. It is based in a world called I don't remember. It'll come to me once I've finished filming this and I'll be like, come on, you're an idiot. This world is filled with lots and lots and lots of different races of people which are so vastly different, but also so vastly similar. Like, I don't really know how to describe it. Like, there's one set of people that walk always like they live in water up to their knees and for some reason they don't rot or something, and like that's just the way they live, and they think that foreigners that don't do that are a little bit weird. There's the Pashendi, which are kind of, they grow armour from their skin, and like their skin is like mottled grey and red, and like they think do they grow horns? I don't remember. And then there's like, I think it's the Shen, that their shadows point towards light instead of away from it, and like it's just like the amount of the races of people makes the world so huge. It's just amazing. And then like the god entity that's there, and then the Spren. I can't even describe the Spren. Okay, I'll try. And imagine Spren are basically like, you paint a picture and you'll have creation Spren popping up, you cut your arm and you'll have pain Spren, and if you don't treat it, maybe it'll turn into rot Spren. you have a tree growing and there's life spren, you have wind spren and fire spren, and they're mostly just like little dancing lights, little things that are kind of showing that something is happening there. Without putting a too fine a point on it, which I probably already have, spren are amazing and you should just read this entire book just for the spren. I was really intimidated going into this book without even stating that it was a 1,000 page book, knowing that it is meant to be a 10 book series, all of them 1,000 plus pages. So, and I'd also have my brother and cousin telling me for ages and ages and ages that I had to read it, and so I was like, fine, I'm gonna read it, but you know, I probably won't enjoy it. And sometimes high fantasy doesn't gel with me as much. And I will admit, for the first like little bit of this book, I was like, this is really thick to slog through. And then suddenly, like, it exploded, and I'm like, I should be cramming for exams, but all I'm wanting to do is read this book, and I suggest don't read it while you need to get stuff done. Like, you just want to sit down, read this entire book. Honestly, one of my favourite books probably ever. Like, it's going up near Name of the Wind. This was a really good book. Needless to say, I gave Way of Kings 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wish I could have given it 6. I loved this book. Now to find my fandom area on the internet, and then just fandom all over the place. Okay, I'm hoping I didn't just gush mouth too much. On to November. So in November, I decided to join Miss Emma Reads a Lot. Yeah, I think that's what her channel's called. Anyway, I decided to join Emma's Raven Cycle read along. I will leave a link to her channel in the description box below. There are 4 books in the Raven Cycle quartet, and so they were giving about a week to each book. I have currently read 3 of these books, 1, 2, and 3. I will just keep talking, and these are possibly blocking out my face, but I don't really know. Anyway, I started the Raven Boys a while ago, and I kind of picked it up and I kind of put it down, and I was like, this is okay, but it's not like amazing, and so I wasn't a huge fan. I finally finished it, and I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I expected I would. I gave the Raven Boys 3.75 on Goodreads. I gave the Dream Thieves 3.65, I think, and I gave, what's it called? What's this last one? Blue. 3.5. Now, I know that is like going down in stars, but I don't know why that's going down in stars. That was just like how I felt at the time, and the rating for the last one may change. It wasn't that it was worse than the first one, it's just like the way it hit me differently. I loved them, but I didn't hate them. For those of you who don't know, the Raven Cycle series is about a girl named Blue Sergeant who, ever since she was very little, has always been told that if she kisses her true love, they will die. It is also then about a group of boys from a school called Aglam B, and the main one of those that they kind of revolve around is called Richard Yancey. Yancey is on a search for the ley lines that are somewhere around the town that they live in. Anyway, their paths cross under interesting circumstances, and it is a fairly fun, character-driven story. These characters, I love them, and I don't ever really want to give them up. Like, the plot isn't making me jump up and down for joy, but the characters are just everything. I probably will finish The Raven King in a soonish type of thing, and once I finish The Raven King, my next plan for reads, when I'm trying to not prepare for an audition, are going to be Hogfather by Terry Pratchett. I really want to get into this because we are getting up to Christmas and I love Christmas vibes and it's almost Advent and I'm really excited. Can you tell? Can you tell I'm excited? Like, can you tell? Can you tell? I like Advent. I like Christmas. The next book that I want to try and read, because I wanted to read this one before the end of 2017, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This book is a bit of a monster, but I really want to read it, and I forgot my Owl Crate Team Dragon bookmark was in here. This book, as far as I know, is about someone who is obsessed with finding this lost city, and his name is Laszlo Strange. That's all I can really remember about this book, and I kind of don't really want to know any more about this book. So, yeah. But all I have heard is amazing things about this, and so I'm super excited to actually read this, and I really would love to finish it before the end of 2017. It is a bit of a monster, but I think if I kind of start now, then I can possibly finish it before the end of December. Other 2 books, which I will at least be glazing over and looking at quite a lot, is The Working Actor by Paul Clayton and Acting Characters by Paul Elsam? I don't know, I literally have just read these off as I'm reading them. This book I bought myself, and this one my brother has recommended to me. I kind of getting ready for an audition of some significance to me. If I think they are good, I will pass on to any other drama people that they are good. That is all I currently have updates for at the minute. I hope you are having a wonderful end of the year scram of reading all of the books that you wanted to finish on your Goodreads list. Little side note, I finished my Goodreads challenge because I aimed for 20 books, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Please keep reading or listening to audios or whatever you do, and don't eat too much cake in the holidays. It's not good for you. I will see you next time. Goodbye! I am officially a huge fan of